All right, so day 12. The trip is going to end up being a baker's dozen, 13 travel days.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be around 5,400 miles, I think, is what my last estimate was. And I'm going to have a new tire put on this thing as soon as I get back to Tallahassee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's looking pretty slim in the center, which is what they do.
Oh, well. Oh, swell.
Oh, swell. But, you know, you can't put miles on them like you do and not wear out a tire. So everything's going well. We got out of the motel this morning. We're at a little Home to Suites by Hilton. There it is right there. Yeah, it was nice. It was a nice place. Met a guy this morning. He drives the CanAm side-by-sides. They're going over to Myrtle Beach to ride a bunch of trails over there. So if you're watching the video, man, good morning. Good day. How you doing? Talked to him and his wife. They were over there getting ready to go.
Ew.
So today we were going to go to Leeds, Alabama, but due to the ability to get a motel room, a lot of graduation things I think are going on, that sort of stuff. And there's things going on probably over at the museum this beginning of summer kind of thing. A lot of folks going over there. We're going to be in Oxford, Slant, Anniston, Alabama, a tad over, just a smidge over 400 miles. All interstate. Vic's favorite. It is going to be.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
75 down through Knoxville, Chattanooga. Our first stop is going to be in Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Rocky Top, Tennessee.
You can do your little singing and your knee slapping while we get her loaded up on the Can-Am and get ready to roll. Do you have anything you'd like to add before we go?
I'm ready to go.
She's ready to go. She's chomping at the bit.
Ready to hit the road.
Like I said, just a little over 400 miles. As long as we don't get hammered with a bunch of traffic, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be able to make some pretty good time. Then tomorrow morning is a short day. We're going to get up early tomorrow so that we can get home early because we have things we have to take care of before we get our week started.
Okie doke.
All right, let's get on this thing. All right, let's get on 75 and roll. As we ride through Kentucky, man, the trees are just green, the rock is clean, the traffic light to moderate, no stress, just really so far the day is just panning out to be a beautiful one. You know, as you ride through the state of Kentucky and you just look around, it just reeks of history. You know, Kentucky entered the Union as the 15th state on June the 1st, 1792. It's known as the Bluegrass State, which definitely opens a lot of doors for music, that's for sure. You know, Stephen Curtis Chapman, who's one of my favorite Christian music artists, he's from there, and of course the Everly Brothers. And you've heard the mention of the Cumberland Gap in another recent song. We'll let you figure that one out. Kentucky's also home to the Bourbon Trail and horse racing. You know, the Kentucky Derby. That might sound a little familiar. But you know, Kentucky has one other thing that I find amazingly interesting, and that's Harlan Sanders. Now, you may know him as the Colonel. Yeah, Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken. You know, Colonel Sanders has quite a colorful past. You know, he started his restaurant with another businessman out in Utah, actually, where they were mixing spices and hailing these flavors as Kentucky Fried Chicken, thinking it would give it a nice southern ring. You know, Harlan opened up a business in Corbin, Kentucky, where him and his wife would create these spices together and cook the food and sell it. And then when I-75 came across, it took the traffic away from Corbin. He sold that business, and you know, he was not a young dude. He started basically, they would travel around and work with restaurants and show them how to make the chicken the way he did, and he would sell his franchises that way. It wasn't until 1952 that the whole KFC thing really began, and by that time Colonel Sanders was 62 years old, and in 1964, at the age of 73, he sold the company for $2 million. Now, in 1964, $2 million was a lot of money. That's like $17 million in today's change. And no, he wasn't really a colonel. That was an honorific title given to him by the governor. But there is yet another restaurant that serves the original recipe, and it's not really a fast food place either. It's called Claudia Sanders Dinner House. Yeah, Claudia Sanders. That was his wife. You know, Harlan went through a lot of lawsuits with the company as he sold the company, trying to, you know, keep his personality and who he is, what he is, and while still maintaining his recipe, he wanted to be able to use these things. So his life was kind of crazy. In June of 1980, Sanders was diagnosed with leukemia, and he died of pneumonia December 16th, 1980, at the age of 90. Colonel Sanders, the man, the myth, the legend. So the next time you go in and eat you some Kentucky Fried Chicken, the original recipe, there actually was a Colonel Sanders. Isn't it good to know that things like that still exist? All right, well, let's continue our ride through the beautiful bluegrass state of Kentucky. Stinking Creek Road. Man, the trees smell so good, man. The air smells so clean. Look at the road just winding back through there. I guess that's Stinking Creek Road. It is. Kentucky and Tennessee are just beautiful states, man. They are just beautiful southern states. They are so green, and you know how I am about that. I love the green, man. Golly, I love the green. Check out the big cross there. All right, we are in Rocky Top. Let's get a little gasoline in this thing. All right, so we are in Rocky Top, Tennessee. Good old Rocky Top.
Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Sure enough, you didn't know she could sing, did you? You could sing.
You sing it.
Like a bird.
You sing it, Mr. Singer. He sings, by the way, and plays guitar.
I do. I used to do it for a living. I know you've heard me say that before. I actually did do that for a living. Man, the roads in Kentucky were beautiful. In fact, the roads in Tennessee are beautiful too. This is beautiful country.
Yeah, nice, easy riding.
The traffic's been moderate to light. We're getting ready to enter Knoxville, and then beyond that will be Chattanooga. And those are our 2 cities for the day. Hopefully they won't be too crazy, but if they are, we'll get through it.
It's been nice, easy riding today.
It has been.
Better than yesterday.
We're about 140, 145 miles in. We averaged on our ride so far 70 miles an hour. So we've done very, very well. I can't ask for more than that ever. I mean, if you're averaging 60, I'm happy. I think that's pretty good average when you're stopping and starting and all that stuff.
Yep.
Now, of course, that's actual run time. I'm not taking into consideration us sitting here making videos and stuff.
Well, anyway.
All right, well, Coach Vic's gonna eat a few cheese and crackers, and I'm gonna drink me a Coke. We're gonna get this thing going down the road. We got one more stop, and then it will be Oxford, Alabama. This is I-75, or it used to be. Now it's a parking lot. We are in Knoxville, and as in every southern town it seems that we've been through on this trip on the East Coast, we have come to a standstill, a complete standstill on the interstate every single time. It's hot. I mean, it's hot. And it's showing a 30-minute delay for the next 6 miles like this. Can't do anything about it, though. You just sit there and deal with it and be as positive as you can. So are there better ways around? I could have gone 20-something miles south of town, and it looked like time-wise it was going to be about the same. You know, it was just a crapshoot. This is the option we chose. I'm not saying it was a better one. It was just the one we picked. We're all in it together, that's for sure. All right, well, enough of that. I won't make you sit through it with us. Here is very well the reason why this delay is here. Looks like we have a 3-car accident, everything compressed down into 2 lanes, and all it takes is one thing like that to just throw a monkey wrench in everything, doesn't it? That might not be the reason why. That could have been, you know, part of the outcome of all of this. You know, people getting impatient and trying to get off and squeeze between somebody. Things like that happen. All right, well, we are somewhat through that massive delay, but not all the way through it. Hopefully it'll open up here on 75, but it was down to 1 lane. There was apparently, it used to be 2 lanes going one way, 2 lanes going the other way, and now it's a 1 lane going to 75 and 2 lanes going to 40, and everyone was staying in the right hand side so they wouldn't have to take the delay and then compressing at the last second. It was pretty messy. Anyway, we got through it. Everything's good. Woo, it was hot. Now let's start enjoying Tennessee and what it has to hold again, because it is a beautiful state. Raise this windshield back up a little bit. I want some air right now. I'm cooking. Shot. What do y'all think? Should I get one of those? It could be a fun toy, huh? They are cool. Bad. Very bad. And nobody's moving. They're not moving at all. They can't get through at all. Wow.
Welcome to Georgia, going through the corner of Georgia here. Just a little taste of the Georgia peach before we pop out in Alabama. Look at all the cars, man. Golly. Woo. Man, North Georgia is beautiful, isn't it?
Place is crazy busy, so we're not going to do much. We're just going to say we're here in Chattanooga, got about 125 miles to go, and it's hot.
It's hot.
Or this is the last stop, then next stop is the motel for the night, and then tomorrow we're back home. So over 5,000 miles done, Key West to Maine. Here we go. You ready?
Yes, I am.
Crazy, crazy.
Well, we're about 40 miles from our motel and it started raining. Are you glad to have some rain?
Yeah, I'm not hot.
Oh my goodness. All right,
Adventure.
Camera's changed, phone's put away, rain jacket's on, let's do a little ride. Big Vic just headbutted me.
We knew the rain was coming, we just didn't know how bad it was going to be, and it was about this time the sky just started to open up. But that's okay, we're less than an hour from our destination and we're not hot. So ride along with us and enjoy the rain as we enjoy these last few miles. So after a quick camera reset, because everything was extremely wet after that downpour, we just began our last stretch of the road. Yes, it seems to have quit raining for the moment, but things are still acting weird with the old camera, and that's just the way things go in YouTube land. So what I'm going to do is, if the camera freezes up again, I'm just going to hold it in my hand and give you some interesting camera angles until we get back to the motel room. So next time you see us, we'll be nice and dry. Hello friends, how are you?
Burrs.
We're cold, we can't get this room warm enough for us. We've been outside in the heat so much here lately that any kind of air conditioned air seems chilly.
Cold, yeah.
So today, let's talk about today, man. We left Lexington, Kentucky, and we are in Oxford, Alabama, which is just outside of Anniston. It was a beautiful ride. The weather was pretty much perfect. Started getting warm, and then we had rain the last 40 miles, 50 miles, something like that. And then we also, during that rain, some of it got pretty darn heavy too. surprisingly heavy. So let's back up. Lexington. We left Lexington this morning.
Beautiful ride.
Beautiful ride, man.
Up until at least the first stop, maybe the second stop. For a couple hours, it was really nice.
I would say, for me, honestly, I thought it was beautiful all the way through Knoxville.
Yeah.
In Knoxville, okay, first off, Kentucky, beautiful. The roads are great.
Nice
the traffic
riding, yes.
was light. Everything was moving. We got into Knoxville, and that's when we got stopped on 75. They had compressed 2 lanes that were exiting into 1, and so everybody was kind of running towards the end and trying to merge over, and it was quite the mess. And we spent almost an hour sitting there. It was funny because my GPS would say a 15-minute wait, and then it'd go up to 20 minutes, and then down to 12 minutes, and up to 30 minutes, and then it would go to 1 minute, and it was all over the place, and we just sat there. We lost a lot of time there, but apart from that,
We had another stop too somewhere, didn't we?
it slowed down
It wasn't as long.
in Chattanooga a little bit.
Right.
But it wasn't bad.
No.
It wasn't bad at all. That was really the only traffic jam. I was amazed though how much when we on this particular tour this time, how much traffic we did run into in cities, and in a lot of southern cities. Charlotte, we ran into it. Columbus, we ran into it. Cincinnati, we ran into it. And then today we ran into it again in Knoxville.
Right.
So a lot of heavy traffic that was standstill traffic, literally stopping on the interstate for a long time.
Right.
That's part of it. Can you avoid that? You can. You can avoid the big cities, but who knows, man? I wish I had some real encouraging words to say you're never going to experience that, but I just don't think that's the case. Lexington. Let's get on the real stuff. So Kentucky was beautiful. The same thing with Tennessee. It was beautiful. Went through the corner of Georgia, up by the Hiawassee River, and all of that beauty, just that, all of that is that Appalachian Mountain area. And then we popped out into Alabama, and that's where we are now. And then tomorrow we'll be from Alabama to Tallahassee. We'll run through a corner of Georgia and then down into Florida again.
Mm-hmm. Again, another beautiful ride. Most parts of it were really pretty.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The only frustrating time of the entire ride was when we were sitting on the interstate, and had it not been so hot.
And it got hot, but then once we put a little water on us, it felt better. Then right at the very end, like the last
40 miles.
It just started raining. Then poured down rain.
Yeah.
And then we had to put our jackets on. Of course, I messed up my vents again because I can't get that figured out, so I got wet. And then we get to the hotel, and we get unloaded, and I go check in, found out we're at the wrong hotel, and the one we're supposed to be in is right next door, so I pushed to the one next door in the rain, wheelchair girl going down a busy road in the rain,
so
went inside to see.
You have 2 Hilton hotels right beside one another, and I went to the wrong one. They were the GPS was like your location is off your right, and they were both off the right. I just pulled into the closest parking lot, and there it was. But everything worked out. Everything worked out. I will tell you, tomorrow I'm gonna have a little sadness that this is over. Every day is a challenge, which I embrace. I really like the idea of touring. I love the people. I love the travel. I love the motels. I love everything about it. This tour, though, had challenges that the other one did not. A lot more. The climate was the big thing. And the traffic. Honestly, the climate and the traffic were the 2 big hurdles. I was talking to a friend of mine that him and his wife, they live up in Michigan, and they're getting ready to leave and go into South Dakota, and they're worried about just getting out of Michigan and through the major cities up in the Northeast simply until they pop out on that other side. And he's like, they're only talking one day, kind of one afternoon, and then they're going to be out of all of that.
Right.
If you're traveling up that eastern coast, north to south, you're going to be in traffic the whole time. You just are, until you get up into Maine, or even Vermont was pretty lean as far as traffic, and New Hampshire was lean if you were off those main roads. But if you got on the interstate in New Hampshire and those areas, you were going to get hammered. It wasn't until you got into Maine that you could pretty much travel on any road and be okay. The East Coast compared to the southern areas of America, you're just going to have more traffic.
Right.
But we expected that. We also expected more rain. I mean, obviously things are green. They get green because they get watered. And
yeah, you look at the forecast. It says there's going to be rain, then there isn't rain. Then it says there isn't going to be rain, then there is rain. So it's just unpredictable.
Right. You just never know. Day after day after day, you expect to get wet every day.
Right.
When you're traveling the East Coast this time of year. At least I expected it, and it did not disappoint.
Nope.
We've had one day that we didn't get rain.
Right.
One day. Every other day we got some rain. Some days were heavier than others. 12 days. Tomorrow will be the baker's dozen, day 13.
It's supposed to be raining.
It's supposed to rain tomorrow.
It's supposed to have rain by the time we get to Tallahassee.
So we're going to get wet 12 of the 13 days. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You understand that too. That's part of it. Any epiphanies today?
Well, you did ask me if this was our first trip, would I have toured again?
Yeah, because the first tour we crossed the continent twice. We had one rain shower that lasted 30 minutes. We had heat. We had traffic in Houston. Apart from that.
So would I?
But if this was your very first tour, you had not experienced that.
I know, I've probably been like, I don't know, that was tough. So who knows? I'm glad this is our second one, not the first one.
Every tour is different. Every time you do anything, it is not going to be exactly the same. What you have to do, and I'm going to pull an email out here from a subscriber that I got. I got this email yesterday from a gentleman named John. He's an older guy. He goes, I think back to a time when I was touring in the late 80s. The magic of a thunderstorm in the desert followed by a rainbow and the promise of a meal and coffee at the end of the day's ride. That's the feeling.
Yeah, that sums it up.
That's the feeling. That's what it is. The promise of that togetherness, of the things that we experience on the road, a new appreciation for each other every time we do this. I hate for it to be over.
Yep. One more day.
So let's see where we are right now as far as mileage. So today's mileage was 404.3 miles with 7 hours and 25 minutes in the saddle, because there was a 60-mile section that we averaged 30 miles an hour. 404.3 miles, bringing our total to 5,083.0 miles. 5,083 miles. We have another day tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to put us, I think we're going to end up in the high 53s, maybe 5,400 miles. So this tour will be 300 miles further than east to west coast.
Wow.
300 miles further. Now, had we not done Niagara Falls, I don't think it would have been. But going all the way over to Niagara Falls changed that.
Right.
Which, by the way, was well worth it. To meet Wayne, to see Niagara Falls, and the experience that we had over around the Buffalo, New York area was wonderful. And having a local that understands the traffic patterns and all of that to help us get around, and then for him to be so awesome also on top of all that, it was fun. It was the icing on the cake.
Right. And don't forget, when you're touring, make sure you gas up the night before. Because when you load up in the morning and you forget to put gas in, you've got to unload. Well, you don't have to unload like we do, but within 30 seconds, we had to unload again and put gas in.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, I did that. I did a boo-boo, y'all.
That's the first time you've ever done it.
It's the first time I've ever done it. So yesterday, we get to the motel.
You went across the street and got dinner.
I walked and got food. And I walked inside, and I sat down, and I fell asleep after our meal, and I forgot that I didn't put gas in the Spyder. So this morning we do our opener, we get on the Spyder, and I look up and my trip meter isn't cleared. And that's what I always do. As soon as I fill up, I clear my trip meter. And my trip meter wasn't cleared, and I'm like, oh no. I mean, I just gotten Vic put on. I just gotten Vic put on the Spyder.
We're all ready to go.
We literally go an 1/8 of a mile. I have to put her wheelchair back together and get her off the Spyder in order to gas that.
But we did it quick. We realized we can do this quick.
We can do it quick if we need to.
And if we need to, we just don't. The gas station trips are never that quick.
Yeah, we don't rush. The gas station situation today, the first one was nice. The second one was, wow, it was so busy.
Yeah.
And we really tried to be in and out of there pretty quick, to be courteous to others who were waiting in basically a line.
There was lines.
It was crazy busy. Gas prices in Tennessee and Kentucky were very reasonable, and in Alabama were very reasonable. Up north, not so much. It was pretty expensive. I do look forward to running the numbers on this trip and doing a comparison to last year's trip.
We spent more.
Spent a lot more, I think.
A lot more on this trip.
But here's what I want to do. When we get home tomorrow, we'll do a closing tomorrow evening, and then in the next week or two, we'll revisit everything with what was spent on gas, what was spent on motels, what was spent on food, all of that stuff. We'll compile all of that data like we did last year, highlights, lowlights, and the things that we learned. I will tell you one thing that I learned. A good rain jacket is worth its weight in gold. And the little Columbia jacket that Vicky bought me at CanAm Sports.
The pants and the jacket.
Wow. I mean, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I don't have the big fancy schmancy stuff. I have a Columbia jacket.
It works. It keeps you dry.
You have seen it a bunch in the videos, that red one. It works great.
And I did get on my snacks this time. Because we really didn't buy anything at the gas stations. Toward the end we bought a couple Cokes, but we didn't buy any food at the gas stations.
Right.
And the only food we bought was just dinner.
Just our meals. And we've been doing pretty much one meal a day. Like we do when we travel.
Doing good with that.
That's pretty much what we do when we travel anyway. I hope you're encouraged. I hope you want to tour. We really wanted to keep this as real and raw. The idea behind this entire series this year for me is to keep it as real and raw as it can possibly be, so that you can experience it. I hope that when you watch these videos that you felt wet and cold, that you felt hot and frustrated in the traffic, that you felt excited for the mountainside, and you felt fired up seeing the old homes in the Northeast and driving down the dusty roads in Maine and seeing the Amish country and all of the cold air and the clearness of the air and the clouds and all of it. I hope you got to experience it, that you actually could feel the grit in your teeth from the dust like we could, because that's what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted this series to be real to you. I wanted you to feel like you are traveling. So I hope you got a taste of that.
Yeah, you definitely felt the elements this time.
Vicky always said that she wanted to do the Appalachian Trail, and I used to tell her, the Appalachian Trail, I've hiked about 600 miles of it when you add all the little sections that I've done. Here's the crazy thing. I told her, you're dirty, you're stinky, you have great days, you have bad days, but every day you look forward to getting up and walking those miles, and every mile has to be paid in full. That's what this tour felt like. That's what it felt like. This felt more like the AT than anything I've ever done on a motorcycle.
Yeah, a lot of grit.
I think that you experienced the Appalachian Trail from the seat of a motorcycle this time.
Sweaty, wet, stinky.
It was tough. She was saying that tonight when we were doing the video, I don't have a lot of makeup on. I'm not all pretty.
Oh, I've kind of let that go on this trip.
You look beautiful. You look beautiful.
Let all that go on this trip.
We're going to end it there. We're going to get we're a little bit tired. The days do start to pile up, which we like that.
Sleeping good at night.
One thing, I'm going to say this too. I find us not really arguing on the road at all. And that surprises me when we're tired like this, that we don't snap at each other.
I don't have the energy.
You know, I'll tell you, I think that I see her working so hard that I couldn't snap at her. And I think likewise, she sees me working so hard that before she starts to snap from that being tired and grumpy, that she goes, he's working his butt off too. And I think that when we see each other doing those things, I think it's an entire new appreciation for each other.
True.
Maybe not.
You said it right. Yeah.
I said it right?
You said it right.
All right. Okay, do me a favor. Go out by the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right,
Take care of yourself.
and remember, if you're not having fun,
You're doing it
I
wrong.
know you're going to seize the day. We'll see you on the road real soon, and we'll be a little more recovered, maybe a little more clean shaven, and thank God this is not smell-o-vision, because we had some stanky days. All right, we'll see you soon. Good night.
Night.